This week, we're getting villainous.
Welcome to the damn show!
Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Last week was nutty. Jack and Jackie were in California, and I had everything set up. Everything was perfect in This week, we're getting villainous.
Welcome to the damn show!
And so everything was just, I swear, for the first time ever, everything was perfect. Everything was great. Then a storm hit and the internet went out. We have a storm tonight, too, though.
Yeah, it's raining pretty good outside, and Denton doesn't have great drainage, so I'm sure some dumpsters are floating down the street somewhere. But, yeah, last week was crazy. The internet went out. I mean, like, I was in California, and we were geared up. I had my brother and my niece, and we were going to do a challenge, and, you know, I put makeup on. It was crazy, and of course, no dice. You
put makeup on? Wow.
I know, it's serious.
Man, I didn't go as far as that. I didn't put any makeup on, but man, I had everything ready, I swear. And then the entire internet went out. Oh, hey, Echo came in. If you hear jingles, that's Echo's collar. Jingles, jingles.
So, and we should also say we are down a co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom melts when it gets wet, so she doesn't go out. So
yeah.
If you're watching, Mom, hi, stay dry, don't melt.
Yeah. She doesn't want to brave the rain. So.
But, and this week we're doing the Joker as well. Last week, I had this crazy idea that I would be able to do 2 Joker paintings, like in one whole show, which was nutty. But I did the one, and it's back behind me somewhere, and
it's to the right of the
oh, is it? Oh,
yeah, it's to the right of the sink. You should show it to everybody.
Let me show you guys this.
Here, I'll do the close-up cam.
Bam, bam. The Joker. Oh, you know what? What did I do with my phone? So this is the Joker that I did last week, and I'm starting. Okay, right now I think I am. What I'm doing, I've got my, so anyway, this is the Joker painting I did last week. This week, I'm going to do one here, and you can see I have the raised line drawing already started, which is basically just a sketch. So if you sketch with a pencil or a pen, it's the same idea. So I sketch with paint that I can touch and feel. So I'm going to put this back over here, so I don't forget where it needs to go. What I'm doing, though, and what I think I started with my phone, so, we're actually going to show, last week with the Joker painting, we did a thing, we're calling the show Dramatic Art Measures.
Drastic
Art Measures. I keep saying dramatic, I keep thinking like drama, and I don't know why I don't like
dramatic, it's cool, it's all, as long as it starts with D, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Disappointing art measures.
No disappointing. Drastic Art Measures, but last week I sped it up after the Joker painting. I thought, that'd be kind of cool. So this week, hanging above my head up here is a GoPro that every Monday we're gonna put out Drastic Art Measures Fast, where it's just the painting that we're doing, but it's gonna be done. It's just the painting part, so it's all of that done really quickly, and we'll put that out every Monday. And at least that's the idea.
Yeah.
So that's what that's for. So I was just checking, and so maybe we'll see if I can work the GoPro.
Well, I should say that we have some people tuning in. Yay! Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Let's see. Old Unk is on, and Stephanie Bergrun is on, and she said that your mother is made of sugar. She'd melt in the rain.
Oh, how sweet! Wow, nobody tell Mom that. That'll go right to her head. She does not need any encouragement.
And my brother Billy's watching. Thank you for tuning in. So. Yeah, I just got back from California, and it's funny because it's equally hot out there, but, you know, of course it's beautiful, and we still went out and Pokemon hunted. It was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, Jackie visited the West Coast side of the family in San Diego, which I'm always jealous of because the weather is always so nice, and she caught Pokemon fever when she was out there.
Well, I have resisted this. I will say I have resisted this because my sister-in-law we went to Galveston the week prior to that, and my sister-in-law was just, buried in her phone, just going nuts trying to catch Pokemon.
It was so much fun to make fun of her for that.
I know, we were making fun of her, and I was like, man, that's crazy. And so I went out to California, and my niece is 11. She's all into it, and her mom Doris is all into it, which is hilarious. But I got swept up in it. I tried to show them how to geocache because that's apparently like the old people's way of Pokemon hunting, and then I just got sucked into it. So, but let me go over to the close-up cam so I can show you show everybody what you're working on.
Well, it's not that I'm not that interested in Pokemon or anything, but I thought I would just get started. Now, what this is going to be, last week I did the Heath Ledger-inspired Joker painting. This week, it's more of the cartoon book, sort of. And there's lots and lots of different renditions of the Joker. And this, if you're looking into getting into drawing, to painting, a comic book character like this is really interesting to start. I mean, you've got so many different versions of the Joker for decades now, and all of them are interesting. All of them are different. There's different takes from like a very cartoon, kind of, I don't know. Not sinister to like a murderous.
Well, yeah, I
scary.
mean they span the gamut now with like Suicide Squad, and which is kind of why this is all sparked. But
yeah, have you guys? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's like, if you go back in the day, and the Joker's this sort of silly like circus character way back in the day. I mean, just like he was just silly and obviously villainous, and now you have these crazy, creepy, just psychopaths like the Heath Ledger character. And I don't know if anybody out there is like a nut for the animated series, but there's a new one out that is called The Killing Joke, and I think it's rated R. I watched it, and it's like those cartoons are not made for kids anymore. There's
Really?
there's a little intimate scene. The villain is the Joker is a little nuts.
I'm not sure if I've seen
I
that.
think you saw it. I'm pretty sure you watched it with me, because I remember cringing a little bit because there was an intimate scene, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself,
You're worried about me getting like, I don't want John getting any ideas.
No, I was like the cool, because it's an animated thing. So we were watching it with Jack, and the whole time I'm like cringing a little bit, and then it was over. So it was, it's just the animated series have been getting a little nutty, but
that's funny.
A little risque.
Well, let me say really quickly about this. What I'm doing here, and I know I've talked about this a bunch, but I'm just blocking out the painting a little bit. I put down a sketch, and a sketch is just a way of thinking on canvas or paper. So it was just a way of putting down ideas of because I went online and I researched, which is a cool thing. Now with the technology the way it is, you can actually go online, and if you're visually impaired, you can download images and transfer them into different formats, so you can touch them in like raised line formats, and they'll vibrate. They'll do all kinds of stuff. They'll make sounds. So I use a lot of different programs. But I was researching, did different takes on the Joker and all that, and I combined a couple and something I liked, and it just lets you be able to manipulate and look at things in a way, and it's getting better all the time. Anyway, that's what I'm doing here. So the last week was more of a Heath Ledger inspired. This is more of a cartoonish sort of one, but more evil than Heath Ledger, maybe. We'll see. But I'm blocking it out.
MWB Arts chimed in and said Gotham series is a dark series, pre-Batman series. So I've heard of that. I think Billy mentioned that while I was out there, that he had seen that show and thought it was really good, but I haven't seen the show. I'm curious though. I don't know anything. Is the Joker in that series? Anybody that has seen it, what is he like? Is he and that's my other question. I know Gotham takes place before Batman really comes into his own, so how is that? I don't know. The whole timeline is throwing me off of that show, which is probably why I haven't watched it, because I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that show.
Anybody out there, fill us in. I'm curious.
One of your friends is a big fan of Gotham, isn't she?
Yeah. My friend Nancy out in Virginia, we watched one episode while I was staying with her, and it was super interesting. But there was a villain I didn't recognize. I think it was a new one they introduced. And anyway, so yeah, I was in the middle of the series, so I was like, it sounds cool, but I didn't watch it. But yeah.
And what I'm doing right now is I'm just filling in. I sketch some lines, and of course when I sketch, I usually use white. And the reason I do that is because it won't affect the color of the paint that I put on later. If you're using your vision, more for art, painting white on white doesn't work as well. It's probably a little harder, but for me, I like it because it's one of the benefits. Because if you put a color down, you don't have to worry about the line underneath being darker or whatever. So anyway, so I'm sketching it out. I'm just going back in and I'm putting some areas that I think I want to have dark. Now I've never done a painting though where I haven't changed what I was doing. So right now I'm just going in and I'm just really loosely blocking everything in. And as I do this, you'll get a look at a better look probably at what the picture's going to look like. And then I'll decide what colors to use and stuff. And on this, I want it, kind of like the Heath Ledger one. I want to keep the same kind of look, where I don't want a lot of color. So many of my paintings have tons of color, but I feel like the Joker is an over-the-top character to begin with. And I want there to be some similarities between this, like between the Joker. So
Yeah.
with the Heath Ledger Joker and this more animated sort of cartoonish Joker, I'm going to keep a lot of the black and white sort of elements, and then just have color every once in a while just to emphasize it a little bit.
That's cool. So on the chat now, we've got people filling us in on the Gotham series.
Oh, cool.
First, I got to give a shout out to Donna because I gave one out to Uncle and then he
Hey, Donna.
But Billy says that all the villains are kids in Gotham. I mean, all those particular villains, I assume, because I know there's adult villains.
Oh, they're all young, like they're just starting
Yeah,
out?
I know Penguin and Riddler. Stephanie said Penguin and Riddler are in it. And then Billy said that there's a guy named Jerome that may grow up to be the Joker. So I don't know if I'm giving any spoilers via the chat, but them being kids, I mean, that lends to me. I would think that could be kind of funny. I think it could get funny. I don't know. Just kids. Did they not get hugged enough? I don't know. Is that shown in the show? Anyway, just silly. But
It makes you wonder. Poor little kids. Man, oh man. But has anybody seen this Suicide Squad yet? I listened to it the other day and I liked it. I mean, I wasn't. But I have to say, Jared Leto, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
Is it Leto? Leto?
Leto?
Leto?
I'm gonna go with Leto.
I liked him as a Joker. I mean, I just like the Joker as a character, and I thought like he brought more of a romantic side to it.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not like romantic,
Yeah.
but it was different though that way. But it isn't my favorite Joker by far.
Well, why?
Because I don't know. I just feel like he was more of a thug. Like he didn't do any. He was just crazy. Like I don't know. Like with Heath Ledger as a Joker, I felt more like he was a clown. Like he was more of oh gosh.
So he's just like a thug with bad hair. Is that kind of what?
Yeah, I mean, he is crazy, psychotic. And to be honest too, he wasn't in a big part of the movie. Like he was just there and there. So, and apparently he was in a lot more of it, and he got left on the cutting room floor, which I don't know if it was a bad thing or a good thing.
You know what's funny is I read on the plane back from California. I read in American Way or whatever that he was super upset about that or something, and he bashed the production company that they stepped in and edited it too much and took him out. But if you think about the original series, he's not in it that much. Like to keep true to the comic books, he wasn't, because he can't be controlled, and the whole point of the Suicide Squad is they're being controlled so that they can get off on their charges or whatever. So he's not, if anything, he's going to be working kind of against them because he can't be controlled. So he wasn't, I mean, I could see where he would actually be better if he was just in it.
Well, he wasn't on the squad.
Okay, well that makes sense because he's not.
You haven't seen it yet, have you?
I haven't seen it, but I have an idea.
He wasn't on the squad, and that's probably why he wasn't in as much of it.
Yeah.
Because it was more. He was off the squad, and I don't want to give any spoilers. Maybe he was on the squad. I don't know. I'm not even sure.
I also read
I might
that.
have been watching My Little Pony. I don't know. It might not even been.
Well, I read that the publishing company that was doing it, or I don't know the movie company. Okay, when Batman versus Superman tanked, they were scared that all the things that are associated with them would pull it down. So they actually, that's why they took a bunch of scenes of him out and put it on the cutting room floor, because they wanted to, I think they were just kind of distancing themselves from the Batman versus Superman thing.
You know what?
So.
You know what's funny is the Batman versus Superman, it made like $850 million. Like it made, and it's still making in, bringing in some money. But it's considered a bomb, because it didn't break $1 billion. Like in the production budget was like $250 million. And I mean any other movie that would be like, people would be like, oh yeah, that's great. But because they just expected the movie to make over $1 billion, people were like, I didn't live up to expectations. But
yeah, I think that's nuts, man. That's yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to spend $250 million on some of these movies. Like that I could kind of see in a way. I mean, it's but gosh,
So let me chime in really fast on the chat going on right now.
Yeah.
We've got Owen. He's chimed in. He has commissioned news. He said that some guy commissioned him to do a couple of giraffes because his wife who passed loved giraffes. And they collected anything giraffe. So he did a 11 by 14 painting of a mother giraffe feeding her baby, and it sold. So congrats, Owen. That's awesome.
That's cool, buddy.
So and Valerie said that she's out of the loop because she's not into Batman and stuff. So.
Ah, man.
I don't understand that. But that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Batman. I have a Jeep, and I got this thing, and my goal right now I have like the seat covers and the tire cover and all that's Batman and everything, and my goal is to get a skin of the Batman symbol being shined down on it. So that's the next step for my Jeep. Whatever, man. It's my Jeep. It's gonna have Batman all over it. It's gonna be obnoxious. It's cool.
I think the next step ought to be raising that Jeep up, man.
Well, that'll
And
happen
bigger
too.
tires.
That will happen too. But
I mean, I'm all down with the Batman symbol. I just think it ought to be centered. Batman wouldn't live with it. That's like something the Joker would do. If you had a Joker symbol all askew, that would make more sense than Batman.
it's not gonna be askew.
Batman's gonna have a ruler out there. He's gonna have his bat ruler. He's gonna have his bat protractor. He's gonna make it even, man.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
It's artistic though. It's gonna be like it's shining down from if it's
something.
centered on the thing. It's just I don't know. It just seems so trite.
Well, maybe. Oh, but what about if it's centered, but you cut a hole in the hood
Well, that would be awesome.
and put in like a plexiglass thing so you light it up and it's
Well,
like
that
a
would be
light
cool. I would go for that, but that sounds
As
a
long
little
as-
bit more involved
well,
and
But centered.
cutting into my hood, which
But centered.
which sounds crazy. So what are you working on now? I can kind of see a shape.
Oh, cool. His nosy a little bit. So this is gonna be a little weird for a bit. And hopefully this will work out. I know, like the Heath Ledger, I think that worked out for a quick painting. I'm not sure. All these paintings, you just never know till you get into them.
So,
But I'm blocking in where his nose will
oh,
be.
okay, yeah.
And but all this is just shade and shadow. And the thing is, like, you don't want to put. Well, I don't. Usually, when I draw something, I want just as little as little as I can get away with. Like, I don't like drawing like a real nose and a real eye. Like, I'd rather have a weird shape that gives you the idea that it's an eye. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, for the brain to do a little bit of work with it. I like to put the brains to work. Not my brain. That's
So
my
if
brains.
if you were gonna paint this to music, what is the music you're imagining in your head right now?
Man, that's a good question.
It's the only kind I have.
Only good ones. Well, I've been listening to a weird mix of music here lately. But it would probably be like a high energy sort of music.
Yeah.
Ever since we went to Galveston, though, I've been listening to high energy music, but I've also been listening to a lot of beach music.
Yes. Beach.
A lot of reggae, a lot of not really that much reggae really, but I can't think.
Every time I pop in here, you're listening to modern, like, modern music that's been made into a beach sound, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like that Coldplay song or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's I've been surprised like it's a beach mix, but on Spotify, but it's pretty cool. It's a lot of modern music. I'm trying to think of some of the bands that are on it, but my brain is not letting me.
So I have a question for the crowd, because some people are already talking about it. Okay, for anybody that's fans and kind of knows what's going on with Batman, who out of all the characters that you know of that have played the Joker, who is your favorite Joker? Okay. So write in the chat and let us know, or in the comments below. But I'm going to say, I think mine...
There is a correct answer.
I think mine would probably be Jack Nicholson. And Old Dog mentioned that earlier, which is made me bring up the question, is I think Jack Nicholson, because he was very animated and very fun, and that I love that Batman, so that movie. But it's like, I mean, the dark one is cool, like Heath Ledger's awesome, but if I just want to be like entertained and it not be so heavy, I'm gonna go with Jack Nicholson. That's my vote.
Oh, cool.
So
that's interesting.
For anybody out there on the chat, let us know and I'll mention it. You know, and I it's funny. Another funny thing that came up while I was in California is my brother and I had this long discussion as to why Marvel was killing it making movies and DC is not. And then we, of course, that sparked a long conversation about why Marvel characters are better than DC characters, which I personally thought I like the DC characters better, because it seemed like the Marvel characters, like, while they're great and complex and all that, that's my problem with them, is that they're complex. Like, I don't want, you know, I just want shallow entertainment. I just want fantastical, surface level entertainment. And of course Billy thought that was absurd. But you know, like, Spider-Man's kind of whiny. The Fantastic Four were just like boo-hooing the whole time that they had their powers. I don't know. I was just like, can't we just, like, you know, fight crime and call it done? Well, that was my feeling on it.
Well, you know, I love Spider-Man, and I was all down with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man till they kept making him. He was just whiny, like Spider-Man, like that I grew up with, and the comic books and the stuff. He was funny. Like, he was this wisecracking guy, and he was always kind of lighthearted. He was more like what's that death guy now? The Deadpool.
Yeah.
Where Deadpool, like, except Spider-Man wasn't like, he didn't have like a foul mouth like that. But
yeah.
He was always wisecracking, and kind of like the new Spider-Man, which I'm kind of excited about, because he's more like the old Spider-Man, where he's not. Oh, I wish that girl liked me. Gosh, you'll never like me. Oh, it's all about the girls, and it's like, gosh, man.
Well, that was my.
I mean, be Spider-Man.
There's an animated Spider-Man show out there that came out, I think, I don't know, probably like 5 years ago, that Jack was watching for a while, and that was pretty funny, because it was like all that kid did was crack jokes. Mm-hmm. Sure, he had to mow lawns or whatever on the side and didn't like it, but he just cracked jokes. Whereas, man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, it was just like, I don't know, reading a really sad diary at times. It was just not cool.
It didn't seem true to form to the character that had been done, you know, and had been like, I don't know, if Batman just around playing jokes on people, you know, it was like, crime, whatever, I can take it or leave it. That's not Batman, man.
So on the chat, we've got some people chiming in, and they okay, so Oldong says Jack Nicholson, which I figured. MWB says Cesar Romero, the original.
Old school.
Old school.
I love how Cesar Romero still had a mustache. Like, for the part, like, he didn't, like, shave his mustache off. Yeah. Like, underneath the paint, he still had his mustache.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, okay. Billy says Mark Hamill voicing the Joker on the animated series is the correct answer.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Well, you know you're a diehard fan when you start pulling in, like, the voice actors for the animated series and stuff. So that's impressive. So, and then Valerie said she prefers Scooby-Doo.
Ah.
So.
You know, it'd be cool if they would combine the two, and at the end of a Batman or Spider-Man movie, they would rip off a mask off somebody and go like, "What?" Arr.
So, and Owen likes Heath Ledger.
I'm with you, Owen.
I mean, yeah, he was excellent. It's always nice to be surprised by like the actor when you're like, oh man, I don't know if that's gonna be good, and then the mind blowing.
Yeah, like I think that's the thing with Heath Ledger too, is I really like that take.
Yeah.
Like I like a lot of the different aspects of the different Jokers, even the new Joker, the Suicide Squad, which isn't my favorite, but there's aspects about it that I think are really cool. Like I wish you could combine like part of the Leto guy, Leto,
yeah,
with Heath Ledger, with Jack Nicholson and all of that. I mean, man, it would just be really cool.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I say Heath Ledger is because it's one Joker that I can go back and watch again and again. You know, and I think, oh, like that's kind of interesting, but it's the same way though.
So this Joker that you're painting is kind of like the animated series Joker.
Yeah. It's very much, it's sort of the Joker that I kind of remember more, or ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not...
Watch your head. It's right now.
Oh, sorry.
I know, it's different.
And it's not like the, that's what I was saying, it's more the animated one, where, in kind of a dark take
yeah.
of it, but it's, which is something that I wanted. I wanted to do a Joker that is very iconic. And that's why I did like the Heath Ledger one. Because I want it to be a little iconic. And I think like the way he did it, like he humanized the Joker in a big way.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of that whole series, where they would make like Bane and they try to make him, well, if this actually occurred, this was the kind of person it would be, or Two-Face, and this is what would, you know.
I thought Bane was a really good villain. I liked him. I like that, the way the actor did that was pretty good.
Yeah, how do you talk? Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Like,
so, I don't know though. I'll put another question out there to the crowd. Who was your favorite Batman? Because I know I don't know who out there has seen the latest Superman versus or Batman versus Superman. I just watched it recently, and okay. Ben Affleck is okay. He's okay. He's not my favorite.
I liked it the second time I saw it.
I might have to see it again then, because he was just okay. And one thing that I really didn't like about that movie was Alfred.
Oh, really?
What on earth, man? He had like
Jeremy Irons? Or
yeah, I mean, first of all, he grumbled under his breath about Batman. He looked the same age, practically. It was like, and he was more of like a, I don't know, it just seemed really awkward, that like the way they played out that character. I mean, I don't know. What does everybody else think? Am I the only one? That's kind of weird. I don't know. But who's your favorite Batman, and why was Alfred so weird in that movie? That's my question.
You know, I mean, I can kind of say, I can see what they were doing, where they were making like Alfred was more of a character instead of a bit player all the time. You know, where he was more of a partner in crime than just somebody that would get Batman, like Bruce Wayne, a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
He was the guy working on the Batmobile. He was the guy fixing the microphone in the suit, and all. I was like, something's going wrong. He was the tech guy behind it all, really.
He raised Batman, though. I mean, come on, the guy in that movie looked the same age. I mean, they added some gray to Ben Affleck, and then it was all over with at that point. It's like, they might as well have grown up together.
Well, that's interesting. I wouldn't think about that.
I don't know. It was just like the one, like nails. It was just like a nail on a chalkboard. It was like, what? I mean, besides the weirdness of plot holes.
Well, I think like Ben Affleck. I mean, I think he's playing like a 40-year-old Batman, and the Jeremy Irons or whatever his name is like a 60-year-old guy. Which
Ben
anymore
Affleck
isn't
looked well
that
over 40 years.
I think they were trying to age him a little. Like he might have been 42, 43, something like that.
Yeah.
But he'd been fighting crime for 20 years. They said Alfred the last 20 years.
Okay. Well, all right. So on the chat we have
But yeah, That's interesting you say that.
Crafty Karina says that the best Batman is Kevin Conroy, the voice actor for the animated movies.
Oh.
Nice.
Cool.
Linda says Adam West, but her age may be showing. And let's see, Michael Keaton. I'll have to get. Owen says Michael Keaton, which I agree. I like Michael Keaton too. I just like that movie. I like the whole silliness of. I'll admit it. I liked all the silliness of all the movies. And Michelle Pfeiffer's the Catwoman. It didn't get better than that. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was better than Halle Berry.
Well,
she?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. They might as well slap some ears on her, furry ears, and call it done. That was ridiculous.
What about that other girl? What's her name? Like the newest Catwoman.
Oh, what is her name? Somebody out there. I'm drawing a blank.
But she was good though.
She was good. It
was more of a realistic sort of Catwoman instead of it being like, where Michelle Pfeiffer was like some mystical thing where all the cats ran over and kind of
she looked so good in that leather outfit.
Kind of like she was made of milk or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Tim Burton, the whole thing was zany. So
yeah, that's true. Tim Burton. Well.
Oh, Anne Hathaway. Billy just said Anne Hathaway was her name.
Right.
Thank you. That was going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
So what do you got going on in the background there?
It's going to be a bat symbol.
Nice.
Yeah, because just over the corner of the shoulder, out of the corner of his eye, there's the bat.
The winged knight.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. Hey, what time is it? How long have I been working on this?
It is 7:35. You're knocking that out pretty fast.
Oh, I was thinking, oh man, this time's going quick. Because I got so much more to do. I'm still in my first color. Time's getting away from me. Man, try not to get my fingerprints everywhere. It's like, so that's okay.
Okay, so.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I have an idea for Spider-Man that I'm willing to share because it's a brilliant idea. But I wish that they would, all Stan Lee, who is awesome, and but he wrote Spider-Man, so it's sort of a teenager with angst and all this. That's why they like the Tobey Maguire. But he was also this wisecracking guy that they completely missed when they wrote that. But it's always about this young man, like this teenager. I think it'd be really interesting if they would work on a movie or a series and then they probably done it in comic books, but where it's it's more like a 40 or 50-year-old Spider-Man. Like a 40-year-old, he's been through a lot. He's still wisecracking, he's funny, but it's different. He's didn't he work like with the Justice League or something? He's
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No, Spider-Man's Marvel.
Yeah. What's the Marvel equivalent of the
Avengers?
He works with the Avengers at some point, didn't he? Yeah. Because remember Iron Man and all that, like in the movie Civil War. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like if you did an older one, though, I just think that would be cool because like if he's more like Batman, in that he's seen he's been around the block, he's seen some things. And if you look at the Spider-Man toys,
yes.
They have all these cool things like underwater Spider-Man with all this breathing apparatus and flying Spider-Man with the wings and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, yes, why don't they make a movie where he's awesome? He's like this, he doesn't always have to have a tall building. That's Spider-Man's thing. If there's not a tall building, he can't swing.
Yeah.
He's just a really strong guy that sticks to things,
Yeah.
And which is cool. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, guys. Come on, give me an adult Spider-Man.
I don't know. I mean, that might be the adult Spider-Man. I agree. It would make for an interesting story. I wonder though because he by trade is a journalist, and I'm pretty sure, by the time you're 40 or 50 and a journalist, you're You're still poor.
That's okay. He can be
You're more poor.
Yeah, but the thing though, like if he's with the Avengers and all that, Tony Stark, like all those guys. I mean, like you know.
So Stark is spotting him some cash. To
Oh
pay the
yeah, like
bills.
you know he has tech and stuff. Cause like a lot of the toys and stuff, Spider-Man has tech. Like where's that tech come from? It's got to come from Stark
Oh well, that makes
and
sense.
stuff.
Okay.
So you know he's still.
Well, maybe he'll blossom in some Avengers spin-offs because I don't know.
I just think it would be cool, like if, and you know I don't see it happening with this Avengers. They've started out with the really young Spider-Man again, which is the right thing to do and all that for that storyline, all this sort of stuff. But I just think as a standalone movie, it would be really cool. Kind of like how they what's that the comic book author. Batman was sort of this kitschy kind of thing. This character, not Bob Kane. Well, he was the guy that started it, but it completely changed it. Where Batman was like the Dark Knight sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
it started in that comic book.
Yeah.
Wish they would do that with Spider-Man. Make Spider-Man a little darker,
Yeah.
but still funny. Not too dark. Anyway, sorry guys. I know we're talking about art and stuff, and I'm like,
So on the
give me the Spider-Man I've yearned for years.
So on the chat, some people are talking about I don't know if they're talking about The Shining or what, but Donna says it was a scary movie. Oh, The Shining. They're talking about The Shining. It's a little off topic,
Oh,
but
boy.
scary movie. And then Valerie says that her dad used to have to patrol the hotel in The Shining when he was a deputy up there in '72 and '73.
Oh, the hotel they used for The Shining?
Yeah,
Holy moly! that would've, man. Oh,
that sounds terrifying.
I didn't think about that being a real place.
Well, let me
I would
ask.
still go find some twins and just bring them up there.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like you just hire a couple of like little twins.
Yeah.
Red rum.
So let me ask this, Valerie. What did he ever like come home with stories, or was it actually haunted, or was that after the fact? Like it was just a sort of thing. I'm fascinated. This is crazy.
Man,
I would have the heebie-jeebies.
I would too, man. My heebie-jeebies would have heebie-jeebies. I'd be jeebied out.
She said he said they really dressed up the hotel. I assume for the movie, really dressed up the hotel. It was 72 through 74.
Wow, that's cool.
Man, creepy.
That is cool. So I'm using a high flow acrylic that I've mixed in with a medium. I've started doing it. I said this on the last show, which wasn't live. I taped it and put it out. But a lot of my paints, like a lot of these colors, have the colors here. They're the same color, same paints, but different mediums added into the different bottles and stuff, and it just makes it quicker. Where like if I want to paint that's going to flow really quick and it's going to feel kind of oily and slick on the canvas, which I don't always have to have raised lines. I can just have the paint feel different. So if I want a really quick, like flowing black, I use this. If I want a really slow flowing black, I'll use this one. And it's real thick and fun, but.
So are you going to add any texture to this? Like, I mean, after.
Nah.
Or is it's just. No.
It's all for the looking. Actually, it does have some texture though. This paint that I'm using feels different than the canvas. So it doesn't have a thick texture, but it does have a different feeling to it. But all that's going to go away because I'm going to varnish it. And the reason I'm going to varnish is because some of the different things I mix in with the paint will make some look matte and some glossy.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I varnish it, it'll even all that out. So it'll all look right. I mean, it'll look, right. as opposed to wrong. So right now I'm putting in a lot of black. So I thought maybe when I finish the black, maybe we could do art news.
Cool.
And we're starting a thing too, and we've done it in Kate Cox one.
Yes.
And where we're doing, and we're giving out MFA.
Yes. Last week we did, yes, 2 weeks ago, Kate was the MFA.
And
This week, Karina, otherwise known as KC, gets awarded the MFA. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about that once you get to the point where that needs to dry.
Yeah.
One thing you could mention, you started using, speaking of Kate Cox, you started using the alcohol inks, and that's what she's doing, which her stuff, I didn't show it because the week we talked about her stuff because she was still working on it, but the alcohol inks and all the different stuff you can do with that, how's that working out for you?
And we'll have to go back with that and look at more of that. And one of the things, like we focused on Kate Cox and but just because we did it that week, I mean, I want to go back and look at more of your stuff, man, as you're putting out more. And and the same with KC. And as you put out more stuff, touch base every so often, because just because you're the MFA for 1 week doesn't mean that
Yeah, we'll
you're,
throw
you're,
it up.
you're our favorite artist, so we want to keep in touch with what you guys are doing. And yeah, let me show really quickly before we do the news and all that. Let me try to get some of this off, because I did. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way for a second. Is this starting to look like the Joker to you?
Yeah, it looks like the Joker.
Cool.
Are you showing your other painting?
Yeah, I want to show. I just finished this painting, but whenever you mentioned Kate Cox, I was thinking about the this. Can you see it on there?
Move it down.
This way.
More. There.
Oh, so when I've been painting, look at my belly. Oh, yeah, I've been really leaning over.
Keep doing that, babe.
Yeah, let's not. Okay. Anywho, so this is a painting that when it's not. I guess it's multimedia or medium. It's all acrylic, except I did use a little of the alcohol-based pigments in there too. But it's really thick, and it hasn't been varnished. Like, I just finished this thing, but I used the alcohol really to help just kind of get a little bit of designs. And this is just sort of a crazy sort of painting. Like, I just wanted to do a fantastic, mythical kind of painting. But I'm calling it. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, either float or float home.
Okay.
But it's just sort of an idea of like if I'm in a little boat or something, like I would just love to float there, and I just get this feeling like I'm going back home in a way.
Cool.
I don't know why. I wasn't born on the water and a tree-lined, weird, vegetated swamp.
Well, the only question I have with that title is there's no apparatus to float on.
Well, no, but and I thought about that.
Okay.
Because you are floating. Like, you're not.
Oh, you're the boat.
Yeah, no, you're in the boat and you're floating.
Where's the boat?
You're in it. You're like you can't see it because you're in a little boat and you're heading down this little stream. You're looking out. So
I'm in the boat. I get it.
Yeah,
okay.
You're in the boat and you're floating down this little thing. You've been going through this, and this is what you're looking at.
Okay, yeah.
And you got this little channel going down.
Well, I love the little they look like cherry blossom trees or something in the foreground.
Oh, cool.
Those are great.
And all this is music up here. It's like a swirl of music.
What were you listening to when you painted it?
I was listening to a lot of beach music. That's what kind of did this, but a lot of really happy sort of music. Very
cool.
And music like what's that one? Like, I'm a new soul. Da, da, da. I don't know.
Yeah, the woman.
It starts with a Y, I think. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
But in a lot of songs that are like that, and actually there's a playlist called Beach something on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
If you type in beach, there's one playlist that has a bunch of these songs, and they're old songs too. Like, there's songs from older songs. Like, there's songs from the Beach Boys, or songs from, I'm my goodness, I cannot think of words. But just so it's not necessarily like, but also songs that are just coming out. So it's just a mix of this sort of happy feeling, and a feeling where you are just relaxed a little bit. Like you step back from your normal crazy day or whatever, and you appreciate what you have, sort of thing. So that's what kind of inspired that. But
well, let me talk really fast. Let's see. Okay, because we asked about the hotel. Valerie says just a regular hotel in the middle of nowhere. He never went in. Let's see. Let's see what else. Kate said the Stanley Hotel in Colorado has tours and claims to be haunted.
Ooh.
So, the Stanley is the actual hotel that Stephen King based the book on in The Shining.
Oh, wow.
And,
well, cool.
Let's see, what else do we got? In the movie, the exteriors of the lodge were shot in Oregon on Mount Hood at Timberline Lodge.
Oh.
So, and then they said that painting you just put up there was beautiful.
Thank you.
So.
Well, hey, do you want to do the news real quick?
I'm all about the news. Let's do this. Okay. You're running off. John's running off. He's leaving me. All right. Okay. So, I thought because this week we were talking about John's doing some painting, or he's doing a painting of the Joker, and last week he did it as well. The theme for this week was Suicide Squad, so I thought I would talk a little bit about that. Here we go. First cover of the Suicide Squad, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Kimberly Yale. Okay, this is back when this book was being written in 1987. There was very few women in comic books, like just working in the DC and Marvel universe. And the writer John Ostrander, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. That was her. That was her husband. And with artist Luke McDowell, did the original Suicide Squad. Well, obviously, from watching the movie, everybody knows that the Suicide Squad was made up of a bunch of villains, and a lot of times they were kind of, D-list villains that had awkward powers, like
Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, Captain Boomerang, which was kind of ridiculous. Slipknot, his power was tying knots and stuff like that. But yeah,
I thought that was a band. I didn't even realize it was that.
No. And so Kimberly Yale came on board and helped helped writing. She was a co-writer on a lot of this, and she is given credit by Grady Hendrix, who wrote some history books on comic books. She was given credit for really bringing these villains to light and giving them more depth. So, and also the fact that you see more diversity in these books. So, and that's back in a day when comics didn't have a lot of females in the powerhouse of.
That's pretty cool, man.
So yes, heard it on NPR.
Wow.
That's for Andy, because
Take that, Andrew.
Take that, because he thinks I listen to NPR too much. But whatever. Okay, so also because it is a villainous week, I want to talk about some silly pranks that people have pulled on the art world. I'm going to start with Duchamp. Everybody knows, I'm sure this looks very familiar.
Everybody loves bathroom humor.
Everybody loves poopy humor. In 1917, a clever artist named Marcel Duchamp changed art history forever by turning a urinal upside down and claiming it as art. So back then, the Society of Independent Artists boo-hooed it. They were like, that's ridiculous, obviously, but this piece, which is called Fountains, later sort of, it's obviously famous now, and, it was like commentary on the relationship between labor and art, and the concept and technique, the deification of artists and artistic spaces and all of that. So thus conceptual art was born with Duchamp.
Wow,
so,
that's cool.
Yes.
Man.
Art spoof. Then, let's see, we've got... Okay. Well, this was kind of funny. This is obscure, but for anybody that doesn't recognize this person, this is B.J. Novak. He's a writer for The Office, or he was a writer for The Office, and acted on it. In 1997, he played a prank on a local gallery, Museum of Fine Art, and what he did was he switched all the self-guided tours tapes with a different tape that for like the first 3 minutes it was completely normal. And so people would go through the tour and just listen to like what each piece was about, and it was all completely normal. And then about 3 minutes in, it would start suggesting like really awkward things, like directions turned into quietly remove the glass and inhale the rich aroma of the paint.
That's awesome.
Eventually the tour ended in having the patrons do the hokey pokey. So, needless to say, his mother was not happy with that stunt.
His mother?
Yeah, it was when he was younger.
Oh.
So.
I'm about to say, well, mama's boy.
Yes.
That's cool.
Okay. This one I find kind of funny. This prank played on the art world. It was designed to fool the art and literary elite. William Boyd fabricated an entirely fake artist named Nat Tate, which I don't know if anybody out there has heard of this, but I think this is fascinating. The story is crazy. But Boyd wrote an entire autobiography about this artist. It was an imaginary person. And he got the name. It was a combination from the National Gallery of the Tate and the Tate Gallery. And it was funny. He said the artist was. He described him as an essentially dignified drunk with nothing to say. So plays into like artists are silly. And Bowie held a launch party for the book on April Fool's Day in 1998, where a bunch of art A-listers attended, a bunch of critics, and actually played like they knew the guy, not not intimately, but knew him.
Uh-huh.
And
it's a good name though. Like, you hear that name and you think like, yeah, what kind of
And it was all in fun and games until somebody at the releasing of this actually bought a piece for $11,000.
Oh wow!
So just goes to show that I don't know.
Change my name.
Yeah.
to Tate.
Yeah. Or you could be drunk with nothing to say. I mean, either way. So, okay, and then lastly, this last prank, which is awesome. In the early 1970s, Harvey Stromberg felt like his work should be shown in the MoMA, finally. So he just decided to create photo sculptures that were exact copies of unnoticed details in the museum, such as like vents, light switches, locks, different things like that, and he proceeded to put them all around the museum, and some of them actually stayed up for about 2 years. But when asked why he does this, he really has no response. He does it for the adrenaline of putting things around museums that aren't supposed to be there. But if you look up this, it's kind of funny because he puts things where a light switch would be, and people go to like hit the light switch, and it's just a photo, which is hilarious.
That's funny. He needs a better story though. Like him and that Tate guy that did the Tate.
Yeah.
They need to get together because the one guy has the rap. Like he's able to talk the talk.
Yeah.
This other guy's doing stuff, but it's like, why are you doing it? I don't have an idea. Like I don't know. Like
Well, Nat Tate doesn't exist.
Well, I know, but the guy that did the Tate.
Oh, okay.
Those two guys need to get together.
They should. That
would be good. Be good.
Anyway, so that is art news. Haha.
Well, I think for any drunk, every drunk should have nothing to say. That's the best kind of drunk.
Yeah.
The drunk that just stays quiet. It's the drunk's like, let me tell you about that. That's the drunk you don't want to be around.
So what are you doing on the painting now?
Well, I'm adding a little bit of black. No, red. Sorry, I added a lot of black. Now I'm moving into just a little bit of red. And I've got some green over here and a little bit of water. So here's some water. And I got some green, and I'm gonna add a little bit of green to here, but I don't want to get too crazy. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and then some yellow. And I want to keep the background white. I was saying white, black and white in the background, but I keep toying with the idea of yellow. Maybe
purple.
Lavender. Yeah. But you know the old Batman though, the Adam West and all that. It was always black and yellow and stuff. So, and this is sort of a cartoonish take on the Joker, and I think I like black and yellow. But I like the black and white.
Well, on your previous painting, going back to the chat really fast while you think about that, Stephanie and Kate mentioned that painting of yours reminded them of Chihuly's glass sculptures.
Oh, I love Chihuly. Oh, I got to touch some of his stuff at a museum I was working at.
Yeah. That
I was doing a show with, and I was doing some stuff, and they had some Chihuly, and I was like, I'd love to touch that. And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was good.
I
was
remember
afraid I was going to break it.
Well, yeah.
They're huge, though. They're so big.
I remember when this is a side story, just this will eat up some time. I remember when we were dating, I don't think we were married yet, but I took you to a Chihuly exhibit at the Arboretum.
Yeah.
And sculpted all the like glass pieces, because at the Arboretum they're like fenced in, they're behind like bushes or flowers, and you can't obviously tromp through it to get to it, but sculpted all the pieces so that as we walked around you could like feel the little piece that
was so cool.
that we went. That was fun.
That was so cool. And you actually end up, didn't we? I want to say we used some of those at the DMA or something, like for people to
Yeah,
or at the Meadows Museum.
We did. I'll actually go get one. I can show it to the crowd. Hold on. Here.
Well, while Jackie looks for a Chihuly, what I'm doing here, I'm just putting a little bit of color in, just a little bit. I want to, and I'm using a paper towel because I want to get a bit of a watercolor sort of effect. Like, I don't want it to be too strong. What I'm probably going to have to do is wait for this part to dry, like, after a while, and then go back in and do some more like layers of it. Were you able to find it?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, again, when this was years ago, I took John to an exhibit. He had to, I sculpted little versions of the Chihulies so that he could feel them as we walked through the exhibit. So this is an example of one of them that I did. I also used it for an art project in my master's program at one point, but let me get a close up. So like, I forget the name of the piece, but like if you look at it, it's also like it's kind of dorky, but
I think it's really cool, man.
And then John would go around. He'd be able. They were all like little glass pieces. I mean, anybody that knows Chihuly stuff, it's like glass coming out, and he's got to be one of my top 3 favorite artists ever. So obviously, I took you to an exhibit I loved.
That's sweet of you to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, so what watercolor colors are you adding?
Well, just yellow and green. Well, and of course the red that I added earlier. Let me see. I'm looking for aha. So I'm just adding a little bit in here of all this, and I think what I'm going to have to do with this is that I'm going to have to let it dry, and then I'll go back in. Like, I'm going to keep working on this, but this though is going to be a lot of little layers of washes and stuff. So what I'm going to do is let parts of it dry. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do washes and glazings, because I don't want it to be a lot of really bright color. I want it to be subtle. And
so Marilee joined us. Hello.
Hey, Marilee.
And Uncle wants to know where Jackson is.
He is in the other room right now, watching his iPad. He's got 2 more days of summer, so he's trying to suck up as much iPad time as he can.
Yeah. Yeah, the schedule and restrictions take place eventually.
Yeah. But he's pretty excited about starting school, though, I think. I mean, he isn't dreading it, which is good.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, I mean, I don't know if this is a bad thing or a good thing. It's a thing. But, like, during the summer, because of the do the art, and this summer we've been traveling an insane amount, but whenever we're home and all, we just sort of let Jackson stay up pretty late. So we're getting him back on a regular schedule, but I mean, if it's just sort of us, we let him stay up kind of late. That's just sort of the way it goes. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I know some parents are really strict about bedtime, and we are when it comes to school. Like when it's school time, like between a certain time, he goes and lays down and all. But I don't know if he's not going to school and stuff. We don't worry about it as much. And
yeah,
maybe that's a bad thing. I just want him to enjoy summer. I mean, like, I don't know, especially this summer because he's 8 years old, and I think that is like the peak time in your life, like from 8 to 11 or 12, where summer is really something. Like before that, you're too young to really appreciate it. But you've been in school a few years, you really appreciate that break. But when you start getting in your teens and stuff, it's just, I don't know, you start thinking about other things. I mean, summer's still cool, you love it, but right now is that magical sort of summertime. Yeah. It just seems like, so I think, well, stay up late, we'll do stuff, you can,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. This parenting thing, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that about?
Who came up with that idea?
Well, my thing is that, I mean, this, I'll probably get thrashed on this, but, like, I want to soak up as much Jack time when he's, as much as possible, so, like, even the whole, he doesn't, in theory, he doesn't sleep with us, but, like, the cuddles and, like, I understand the difficulty in deterring that, but, like, it's all, like, you want to soak up as much, time as possible, so, I mean, you do different things, like, stay up late and watch movies, or, cuddle in bed, or whatever, like, so it's, whatever, I'm doing it, I don't care.
Yeah, and I know, and there's going to be that point where he doesn't want to anymore.
I know, exactly.
You're going to be like, hey, Jack, you want to come cuddle? Can I cuddle with me? He's like, no, Dad, leave me alone.
No, Dad. Because he'll
I
still
gotta pick the kids up from the center. Stop.
Because
He'll
still be living at home when he's 40.
No, but
Mm-hmm.
We call him on the phone, like, hey, have you just dropped the kids off at school? And you're like, yeah, Dad. And we're like, you want to come over a quick cuddle? That's just creepy at that point, isn't it?
That is creepy. Don't do that.
It'd be even creepier. He's like, get out of my head, man. I'm already over there. I'm already heading that way. Oh, well. Gosh, that went to a weird place.
Well, speaking of kids, I'm going to do MFA. Bam.
Yes.
All right, so.
Man, and I'm a little blown away with the art that she's been putting out.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Our MFA this week gets awarded to Karina Siri, my niece, otherwise known as Casey. When I went to, I mean, I've seen her art. Let me just say this. She's 11 years old, so it's mind-blowing. But I've gone out there, and I went out there, and I mean, she's enthralled. She's constantly buried in her sketchbooks, and it's some amazing stuff. So I wanted to share with everybody what she's been working on. I should also say that she got accepted into the San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so she's
congratulations.
super stoked. I know, it's so exciting. But let me put up some of the stuff. She does a lot of superheroes, which, here, let me put this up. This is Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. What's funny about this, her stuff is on the left, like right here, okay? What's funny about this, that there's two of them, is my brother Billy does this drawing challenge with her every week where they pick a really cool superhero image, and they both try to draw it to their best ability, and then they post it on Facebook to see who gets the best feedback, which I can just say Casey gets the majority of the good feedback.
How cool is that, though, man? What a cool thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they were working on it they were working on this one while I was there. But I see real potential in Billy. I think
another 20 years or so.
Another 20 years, and he's got it.
No, man, that is so cool. That's something about Billy too that I say, like, man, he is. We're talking about like the kids and we're wanting all that. He is so involved.
Oh yeah, he is super
the
hands-on. There's a reason why his girls are incredible people. So this was Firestorm. This is one of their competition pieces. So again, hers is right here, and Billy's is right. Oh my gosh, I gotta do this. Billy's is right there. Let's see, another one. This was their Superman competition. So again, Casey's is on the left and Billy's is on the right. and Casey just, she's already got the knack for like creating shadows and muscle structure and all that sort of stuff. So, phenomenal stuff.
That's so
and
cool.
This is an image of her Riddler. Again, she's 11 years old, so this stuff is crazy cool. And this is My Little Pony. And this is all like, she's just freehand drawing this. So it's not trace, it's nothing. It's just awesome. And then my favorite pieces that she's done while I was there, it's not superhero stuff. It's manga stuff, if you're familiar with it. But it's this sort of stuff. This, I think, is absolutely incredible. She takes, like, she draws, like, what would be, like, an anime character of her, from her imagination and splits it in half.
Wow.
And then does one half a Zentangle, and then the other half is, like, a true, manga sort of
Really?
anime character. Yeah.
Man, that sounds really
they're
cool.
absolutely beautiful. And she's doing a whole series of these where it's, like, the Queen of Hearts, the Ace of Spades. Billy just posted one today, and I didn't get a chance to screen capture it, but... she does that, and then this one, she did an Ace of Spades, where again it's half anime character and half Zentangle. So, and I was there when she was working on this one and the other one, and it's time consuming and all that, but it's just phenomenal. So there's a reason why she got accepted into that school. So
man, that's awesome.
Shout out to Casey, great art. Fill us in when you're doing more, and especially if you're doing stuff with your school, let us know what's up with that. But thank you for sharing your art.
Man, that is really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see what she comes up with next, man.
I know, Plano, and I remember growing up, and I was like, why can't I do that? It's like,
you're
I mean,
good.
but I can do art. I just
won't finish live here. But what I'm going to do, though, is that we have the GoPro going. So, can you refresh your screen? Sorry, guys, for this. We'll
Oh, wait. Okay, I think it's up.
Okay, cool.
You want to jump back in there?
Hold it. Let me see.
Yep, we're good. Woo!
Hold it. I want to be on this camera for a bit. Hi. I've got my Bluetooth in.
You're a dork.
I feel like I'm giving a really good shot of my man bun, though.
Well, when you bend over, when you bend over for the camera up there, it's a super good shot.
Is it?
It's the back of your head.
Oh, well.
Go paint.
Okay. Sorry, guys. That's Let me get over by the thing here. Sorry,
right.
guys. One of the things that we're having trouble with is that the computer that I get, I think I mentioned before, it doesn't have a big video processor because I always thought I was getting such a great deal because since I'm not really looking at the screen, I thought, I don't have to spend a lot of money on a video card on the computer. And then never thinking that I'm going to try to run 3 cameras on one thing and try to output here and there. And so, we're looking into ways to fix that. But
yeah. But I did, because it froze right when I was talking about Casey's stuff. I do want to say, in case it froze during it, for her to be sure to give us updates on what she's doing with the school stuff, and I'd love to see more of the mangas and Tangle mix up. That was just phenomenal. So
yeah, sorry about that, guys.
She's already an incredible artist and only 11 years old.
It's incredible. Yeah, hopefully that didn't freeze her. Well, maybe we should give away some art really quick for whoever's watching.
Let's do it. Ooh. All right.
Oh, and I should say too, we're also posting these videos on Facebook and stuff, and so we have it on YouTube, we have it on Facebook, and we get a lot more views on Facebook. Tons of yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, you're on screen even though with the question. Just so you know.
Am I?
Yeah. Yes.
I thought it was you.
Well, I don't know.
Oh well. Hi guys.
Okay, so here's the question, and for anybody that's tuning in for the first time, this is how it works. I'm going to read the question, read all the answers and all that jazz on the chat. Write in what answer you think it is, the correct letter. I will then put your name on a piece of paper and put it in a hat, and I'll let John pick it out.
Ooh,
so
I've never done that before.
Whoever is pulled from the hat gets a free medium print or of their choosing this week. So last week I think Valerie won it, I think.
Well, I don't mix those 2 weeks ago because last week you were.
Oh, it was Valerie. I know that. Okay, 2 weeks ago. And she's gonna email what she wants. But okay, so when did the Joker first appear in a Batman comic? A. April 1st, 1945. B. April 25th, 1940. C. October 31st, 1962. Or D. December 25th, 1964.
Threw in some curveballs in there, maybe, or did I? Or what's going on? I don't know.
I'm gonna read it again. When did the Joker first appear in a Batman comic? A. April 1st, 1945. B. April 25th, 1940. C. October 31st, 1962. Or D. December 25th, 1964. Okay, so now's your chance, everybody, to write in what you think it is. And I am slowly writing down who guessed the correct answer.
What are the responses coming back?
No, they're all over the place.
Oh.
So, again, I would like to encourage anybody out there to just throw in a letter.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, just put in a letter. Let us know.
Yeah, if you don't want, and if you think like, oh, I don't really want to print, or to hang it.
You could give it away.
Yeah, give it away on Christmas. Christmas is coming.
There we go. There we go. So again, when did the Joker first appear in a Batman comic? A. April 1st, 1945. B. April 25th, 1940. C. October 31st, 1962. Or D. December 25th, 1964. If you don't know, if you're not sure, just write in a letter. We won't judge you for not knowing or guessing something absurd.
Yeah, it can't be that crazy.
Yeah.
And I tried to throw in some curveballs,
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right. Well, I'm about to show the answer, so now is the last chance to guess the art. In case anybody wants to put it in there, now's your chance.
What?
I'm about to take it off.
Oh my goodness. Can't take the pressure.
Anybody, is your last chance. I'm just like waiting for some, please put in an answer. Okay. Alright, so now the answer is B, April 25th, 1940. Alright.
Is there anybody that guessed right?
Yeah. So, alright. Now, I'm going to put these in a hat and let John choose who won. Anybody that guessed B and wrote it in the chat got the answer correct, got their name put on a Post-it, and I am going to put it in a hat and John's going to pull it out of the hat. So,
Awesome.
Here, I'm going to go to a close-up because I got to go get a hat.
Here, I bet I've got nothing over here.
Oh, I'll go grab something. I got it. All right.
I'll say that.
Talk about your painting.
Oh, painting. Well, I'm actually using some pink in here, which is weird. Pink is one of my favorite colors now. It works really well with yellow. Like it just accentuates yellow. It works with green. It works with blue. You mix it with a blue, and it kind of makes a light purple. But you can go in and soften a lot of colors using pink. So even though, like, if you looked at this painting, pink isn't going to be what comes to mind. It's something that I'm putting in there. I'm going to use some around his eye too. Get a little bit of a not a bloodshot sort of look, but just something so you look at it and you think, it's just not a solid white.
Okay.
There.
I'm going to shake it up. Just pull one quickly.
Okay.
Okay. Pull it like that. You want to hold it up?
Sure. Which camera is it?
Well, the close-up one is on.
Is it? Oh, okay. I can't open it. It's like it's a sticky note to stick together.
No, it's upside.
Oh.
Whistle.
Hey.
All right.
I've never done that before. That's fine.
That's awesome.
I mean, I've never pulled it before. Well, congratulations, man.
All right, so John pulled our answer. If you didn't see it, well, I have horrible handwriting, but it says Witzel.
Well,
Thank you for. It's funny because he's been trying for a while now to win it.
Wow.
So I am happy that you did. That's fantastic. The deal is email bramblet@gmail.com what image you like on the site, and I'll get it sent out to you in a medium print. Also put in your address, and I'll have that sent out this week to you.
Oh, also, in a couple weeks, we're going to be in Corpus Christi.
Yes.
If anybody's out there, if you know anybody that's out there that, let them know. We're gonna be out
Yeah.
there showing art.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend, we're out there showing art. So if you're out there, or if anybody else is out there that you know of, or whatever, give us a shout out. We'll hang out. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're bringing the camper, if we're staying in a hotel or what yet.
Yeah, I don't know yet. It just kind of, I guess it just depends. The issue for me is it's just a really long. It's already like without a camper, it's a 7.5 hour drive. So with a camper, it'll easily be 9. So.
Yeah, it may not be as bad though.
Yeah,
I mean, if we go that way that Andy was talking about, like the new way.
Corpus is not the same direction as Galveston.
Is it not?
No, you have to drive down, straight down.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Well, so we shall see. So
okay, so I'm noticing on this is that you're like when I can see it, I see some crazy cool colors.
Oh.
I guess because of the brightness in the studio here, it looks almost white except for the yellow and red.
Oh.
So.
What if I hold it up for this camera? Is it different?
No. Can you hold it up to the close-up camera, but just hold the
yeah.
face closer to it? Yeah. Yeah, just move it around slowly. Not up and down, just around. Yeah, so you got some tints of like green in there that you can't, that unless you're really close up on the camera, you can't see.
Really? We'll have
Yeah.
to work on that.
Anyway, so. Cool.
So that's what I'm working on. So you get the idea. It was really, it's mostly a black and white painting, and then going in, adding some color and whatnot. Because, so I'm letting it dry a little bit, and then I'm adding a little bit more color. And what I'm going to do is like around the cheekbone, I'm going to lighten that a little more. In fact, I got some. And I'm just adding different layers because I was just thinking, I thought, man, I want it to look very cartoonish, but I also want it to look a little human. So I thought I'm putting a little pink in there, so you get this little idea that there's a flesh and blood sort of tint behind it. That's a little bit. So I'm putting that, but the only thing is I'm going to have to go back in and I'm going to have to lighten again a little bit more because I want to keep a lot of that white in there. So. And his cheekbone's a big thing. So I'm not sure. I'm not really happy about his eye either yet. So I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Like, I like it, but I think I'm going to have to go in and just change the angle of the dangle a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's all about the little things, It's all about the little stuff.
Watch your head.
Oh, thank you. So I'm going in, do a little finger painting.
So and then you're gonna add a varnish to this?
I am. I'm gonna have a varnish, and let me show you really quickly what I'm gonna do when it comes to the jacket. Let me think. So, have some Dioxazine purple, some blackety black.
Oh, Wendell joined us.
Hey, Wendell. How are you today, man? Let's see. So I'm gonna add a little black. In the chat room, they were mentioning The Shining earlier. It makes me think of Wendell. Not because he's like a pathologic killer or anything, but it just he's like scary stories, scary movies longer than anybody I know.
Yeah.
He really appreciates that whole genre. Like in Man.
Yeah, earlier, Wendell, we were, I believe it was Valerie that was mentioning it, that her dad worked patrol for that hotel, the Stanley, back in the early 70s. So I can only imagine how insanely creepy that would be.
Oh yeah, it's a hotel where The Shining was.
Yeah, but you would appreciate that.
Can you imagine? Coming up in that elevator. I swear, if a little boy on a Hot Wheel, not a Hot Wheel, but a big wheel, or any twins showed up at the hotel.
Yeah, that wouldn't be cool.
I would have to. I would be hoping that I was wearing my brown pants that day. 'Cause I would need them.
So, what color mixes are you doing for his jacket?
Well, on his jacket, I'm doing purple and black, and green, sort of the same colors that are in his face, but I'm just sort of doing a mix with a paint knife. So you can see it's gonna come through and it's gonna blend a little bit. So I put in these little holes and stuff that I knew I kind of wanted something, and a big part of that was so that it would let some of the white of the canvas through. Because if you cover up the canvas, like if you, even with a paint knife, sometimes if you leave some areas, it'll make it where when the light comes through the paint, if it's hitting the black beneath it, it's going to be darker. If it hits a white spot beneath it, it's going to make it a little lighter. So it'll give it a little bit more of an undulation. Look at it a little more realistic. Make it a little more interesting at least. So I'm just putting this in there, and I'm making it a little dark and a little light, and it's actually lighter than what it's going to be when it's done. But the nice thing too, if you're painting like this, to go a little bit lighter than what you're going to want at the end, because I'm going to go back over with some washes and glazes over it, and if it's lighter, it's going to pick up more of that color, more of the tints and things, and it's going to give it more of a in-depth sort of look. Not too much. I mean, we're doing a cartoon animated sort of painting here, so we don't want it to be too over the top crazy. I mean, it doesn't have to be. And as you can tell, like I'm just kind of attacking it with a knife. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. Whenever it dries, I can feel it. I can make sure it's doing what I want it to do. But part of it too is you let it do kind of what it wants to do a little bit, and that just lets I don't know. It's the way it is, like a real coat, a real jacket, a real anything. Light will hit it. It's got some texture to it. It's not just going to be like one color here, one color there. So if you make it a little different, it's going to blend with the eye, and the eye sees it. It's going to think, oh, more realistic. Anyway,
nice.
that's my thinking.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That makes sense.
Very cool.
Oh, cool. Oh, I did an interview with this guy. It was kind of interesting today. It was for a book that he's writing about intuition. He was asking me about intuition and how it played in my life, or if it, with the painting and all this stuff. Then he asked about like whenever you meet people, like how important intuition was with that. Is it and decisions that you make in your life? And it made me wonder, because I had never really thought about that before. It's like whenever you meet somebody, how much do you let your gut feeling dictate how you feel about that person? Or if you're going to make a big decision in your life, and on paper everything looks great, it's great, but you don't have a really good feeling about it, but everything looks right. Like say you're going to get a job somewhere, they're going to pay you way more than what you ever thought. You're moving to a town you love, everything looks great, but you just have this weird feeling about it. You're like, I don't know, this didn't feel right.
See, I feel like that every time I get on a plane, where I'm like, is this the moment that I should have got off the plane? The intuition kicks in, and I'm like, is this the intuition moment that I should have gotten off this plane?
Is that it? Is that
should I
what
get off
it
the
is?
plane? I'm pretty sure I should have got off the plane. I don't like to fly. So, I don't know. That's interesting. I mean...
You have that moment at the plane's ever going down, you're like, I knew it!
Yeah. It's not funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it made me wonder, because I thought, part of it too, I think when you start using a cane and stuff too, you start using more of your intuition, because the first time you cross the street and you're doing it on your own, and you're doing everything that they told you to, all the training, all this stuff, and the engine sounds are right, everything's right, but you just, I don't know, it feels like you're having to go with your gut a little bit. I don't know. Poker, that'd be a good one, I guess.
Oh yeah, it would be nice to have that sense for poker.
Yeah, that would. It has not helped me with poker. I don't play that much, and there's a reason for it. But it's fun. I don't know. I don't really like to gamble, and I know a lot of people get a lot of enjoyment out of it. They'll use it as a game, but whenever we go to Vegas, it's a great place for us to go, because neither of us likes to gamble really, but we like shows, and we like to be around other people having a good time and all this sort of stuff. But
yeah, it was funny actually that when John and I got married. For those that don't know the story, when John and I got married, we got married in Vegas. I mean, it was like a planned thing. It wasn't spur of the moment, but
What's your name? You're cute.
You're cute. And
it doesn't count here anyway.
Yeah. all the family came. Well, a good chunk of the family came out there, so it was all pre-planned and invites went out and everything. But we just found that it was like way cheaper to do a week-long vacation wedding in Vegas than a wedding in a single day in Dallas. But they actually cost about the same. So, and you don't have to you don't have to be solely responsible for entertaining family while they're in town.
And so much of your family had to fly in anyway.
Yeah, almost all my family has to fly in. So, what was funny is that we don't gamble. We're not into this, but we like to see shows and everything. Well, at one point we were on this trip. My mom and me and my sister-in-law, we were all together doing something. I think there were a couple other people with us, and my sister-in-law went off to go buy a keychain or something. So we were like waiting around, and I was like, well, I'm gonna stick $5 into this machine. And it was one of those like newer slot machines, so you don't like pull the thing, you press the button. And so I stuck $5 into it, and I pressed the button, and it came up, it did its thing, and it started dinging. But nothing was coming out, nothing was happening, and I was like, I think it's broken. I don't know what's going on, or I have no idea. And the guy that was playing the machine next to it was like, well, man, I wish mine would break, because apparently we are so unfamiliar with this, like working these machines or gambling, that I had actually hit a jackpot and won like $1,200. And with the newer machines now, it just tells you how much you won, and then somebody comes up and writes you a check or something.
I know, you expect like
I know, I wanted coins. I was like, bury me in coins. That would have gotten my buck, right? That would have, like, I'd been bitten. At that point, I might have given them some money back, but it just went back into shows. At that point, I was like...
Which was a really cool thing that Jackie did, I think. Like, instead of saying, hey, I'm up $1,200, and, just taking that home or putting... I mean, that'd be cool. But what she did instead was start buying tickets for shows for everybody.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, and you're gonna.
So everybody got to go see more shows than what they had planned on, and hang out and do things. We had some friends that couldn't afford to go to shows really, and so it's like she was able to buy, or as much.
Yeah, it made it fun. I mean, and if you just keep gambling, you inevitably lose it. You're just playing. You're paying to play. You're not paying to possibly win, because you will never. I mean, that's probably why I'm not into it, I mean... Yeah. So... I mean,
there's a reason the games are set up the way they are. And
so you're adding some serious texture. Let's talk about it.
I completely changed. Are you going to add texture? Yeah. Yeah,
I dig it, though.
I know, I kind of like it. It needs it, I mean, the Joker's a wild and woolly kind of guy, man. He needs some texture. So here, let me hold it up to the... Trying to pick up the entire easel. You just pick up the easel here and it's like I'm Superman. So there's more texture. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, just hold it still.
Maybe if I tilt it, it might catch some of the...
Down a little bit. And then tilt. Closer to you. Nice. Yeah, so you can see the texture.
Keep on target. Keep on target. So let's go. So, what did I do with my green? I didn't get green out yet. That's why I can't find it. Okay. My green. Okay. So I'm just adding this. Oh, and is camera 2 the close-up up?
Yes.
Okay. Is that right for the
that's
jacket?
nice.
So I put a lot of stuff on the jacket too. So there.
So Casey wants to know how prints are made. How does the exact image and colors get duplicated? That's a great question.
You know what? From my standpoint, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not a problem at all.
Well, you don't do it.
It is so
like, wait a minute,
easy.
You don't do it.
You caught that, huh?
All right, so I mean...
I was wondering when you were going to chime in. Like, yeah, what?
Okay, so, I mean, I'm sure everybody has different methods for this, but... And you really, it's a trial and error a little bit, but for us, we have a local print shop that I love the people. They're fantastic. But what you want to do is you want to initially take your work up there and get them to like print a piece out. It can be a place as simple as like a Copy Pro or Kinko's or whatever. Get them to print a piece out and then look at your colors, make sure they match up so that your colors on your
Oh.
computer are calibrated correctly. They're usually pretty close. We've never really run into an issue where we had to recalibrate.
There is a step before that, though. The hardest part of it, I think, is getting a good image.
Well, that's very true, actually.
And
that's very true.
it just depends. Like, if you're doing small art, it's a lot easier than if you're doing a large painting. And if you're doing something that has a lot of texture or gloss,
Yeah.
it could be the bane of whoever's doing
Oh my
its
gosh.
existence.
Killing me, dude.
Um,
Okay, so that's a fantastic point. Actually, I should just, yes.
all my points.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me give the lowdown on this. Okay. Yes, you need a pristine, perfect image. And I'm just going to say this, Billy. You can't take a picture with your cell phone on the coffee table, which is how I screenshot and all those things because I just pulled it off his Facebook. What you need to do is get into a situation where you have even lighting coming in at 45-degree angles on both sides of the single art. So you got like the art piece here, 45-degree angle light. So there's no like awkward shadows or anything like that. Then you want to get directly in front of it, take a picture of it. Then you take it, and Casey can probably do all, well, I'm sure both of you guys can, but Casey can take it into Photoshop, crop it, clean it up, make the blacks true black, make the whites true white, make sure all the colors look great, get it at the highest res image possible. Your cell phone's pretty good, but I mean, we have a big camera for any of our sort of stuff, or we cruise scan it, which is a whole nother thing. But get a great image of it, and then start archiving that stuff, and take that image and take it to a local printer and you can do something as simple as Kinko's all the way up to an Alpha Graphics, or we use Thomas Reaper Graphics for a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you just get one printout, make sure that you're happy with the way that they print their colors, and then from there you just get a bunch of prints, like you just get them to make a bunch of copies. And what we do is we have a bunch of we buy in bulk all the mats, so it has to be, you know, the mat is 16 by 20, and the image has to fit an 11 by 14 or an 8 by 10 or whatever, because if you try to cut your own mats, it's a nightmare if you're trying to do it in bulk. You just don't even do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I quit doing that when we first got this off the ground.
Yeah.
So
it is nutty. You know, the other thing though, if you can't take a photo, we use a scanning service. Is that?
Yeah, that's that on the pretty high end of it. You can take all your art to a place like a Thomas Reaper Graphics and get it cruise scanned, which is this device that they lay it flat and they just send it through a bed, and it's super evenly lit. We tend to do that with the art that has glass on it, like John will occasionally put glass in the piece, or like resin or something that is super, super reflective.
It's perfect though, isn't it?
It's prettier than the original.
Oh, but oh my goodness, you pay
pretty.
for it though.
Oh, you pay for it. That's the deal. But you know, I mean, you've got to get the color. You got to get everything color corrected, and then you take it to a printer and get it done. So I think that's a great question, Casey. Thank you. If you have any questions after the fact or as you're going through the process, just shoot me a Facebook message or give me a call on the phone, because I'm happy to help. I mean, it was a long process for us to figure out exactly how we wanted to work this out so that it was, you know, monetarily responsible, and that it produced the best quality.
Well, there's also another thing you can do. There's art websites where you can sell your artwork online, and they'll mat it and they'll frame it and everything. And kind of like Cafe Press and Zazzle, and there's one called Artspan, and there's other things where you can set up an online store, and those are great. And you don't have to worry about matting. You don't have to worry about any of that. You have to have a good image. So once you get a good image, you're good there. And the cool thing about those too is a lot of times you can have them printed on other things. So you can have a lot of different things made with that image. The bad thing is, and one thing we noticed, like on Artspan, if somebody went on the website and they ordered like $200 worth of, like one print for $200 or something, we might make $5 off of that.
Yeah.
And if you're an artist, that's not a very, if that's your business, or that's something that you're hoping like, hey, that'd be, nice to make a little bit more money off of. That's ridiculous. So
yeah.
The way we do it now, it's more work, but you get a better return. And,
yeah.
And we also have more control over it, so that we do it the way that we want it to be done, which
Yeah.
is a big thing. But you know, if you're just wanting to put your art out there, which is a really big thing, you're wanting people to be able to order it. That's something that you can do. You can use one of those services and get a website and everything.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and we should do a whole nother separate video of like the process to do recording the image all the way down. We will definitely do that because that is so crucial, especially for artists trying to get their stuff out there. But and we also use for the limited edition prints that are stretched on canvas and really high quality. We only make 100 of them for each image. We use a company called CG Pro Prints, and they're great. We also use Bay Photo for like the big acrylic prints, which those are crazy expensive, but they
Those things are nutty.
they're nutty
beautiful,
expensive,
though.
but they are gorgeous because it's acrylic laid on top of a metallic print of the art, so it has this sort of like 3D yet rich resonating sort of feel. So I mean, we've literally only used those for like some California shows, but
Yeah, because everything is more expensive in California.
but yeah, they're beautiful. So we use CG Pro Prints and Bay Photo for the high end stuff, and then for just the regular prints, we go to a you know a place that we really like here, and we do bulk mats. So
You know, one of the nice things too, though, like the online, like if Casey or someone is wanting to start getting into selling their art, that's a nice way to break into it without having to pay money. Very much like you don't have to buy stuff in bulk. You don't have to do all that, and you can still sell the stuff online. And you know, it makes it a little easier to I don't know to break into it. And then if it catches on and more people are wanting to buy, and you're thinking like, you know, I want to do it in a way that's going to make it makes more business sense to do this. Then you can always change it up later.
yeah,
But it makes it a nice way to kind of get in and be able to get in and an easy way. And it's fun to share. I mean, like, you know, you get one of those art sites and people like something, they can go ahead and purchase it. And that's pretty cool.
yeah. One thing I would suggest, I mean, because some of the people that watch this are already like in their professional sort of realm, and they've got sites and YouTube channels and all that sort of stuff. But Casey's, you know, she's only 11 and she's starting to set, and her work's amazing. I would highly suggest like building your own portfolio on your own website and actually start selling it, and then, you know, start posting it to different things like Reddit. I mean,
knew how to use Reddit.
yeah, just different things like different social medias, different forums, all sorts of stuff. And I mean, especially like all the different apps, Instagram, all that. Like, just, I mean, we met some people in at a show in California in Santa Barbara, and it was this particular woman, and she did these paintings of horses that were beautiful and everything, and we were talking to her, and she was like, yeah, her entire business is on Instagram. Like, she makes, I mean, enough money to live in California, so it's pretty good, and it's all from Instagram. So I mean, like, if you play the social media card right, and you have everything kind of worked out so that people can make purchases from you, then man, you could start now and start making some money.
Yeah.
Why not?
Instagram's something I hardly even use. I need to.
That's because I use it.
I know. I need
for
to be,
you.
Oh, I mean, I've done some posts, but I don't. That and Reddit, like there's in Pinterest, are three that I really want to use more, because a lot of people use it and it's fun. I don't know. I started painting to connect with people, and you know,
okay, so Valerie, this is interesting. Valerie said you use Reddit for art? ? I want to address this because what's funny is that there was a moment when our business sort of like, it was a tipping point, and Reddit was the cause.
Yeah, I didn't know what Reddit was.
We didn't know what it was, and all of a sudden your stuff was posted, and it was like we were flooded. And ever since then, we've capitalized on it. But
somebody, like, it was like, I do interviews quite a bit, you know, and somebody like called from Reddit, wanted to do an interview. I was like, sure, but I honestly, I mean, honestly thought it was almost like a teenager sort of high school kind of thing. Like, here, whatever, you know, I'll do a thing for your blog. I'll let, you know, anything, sure.
Well,
it'd be fun. And
yeah. And Reddit has a whole, like, if you go to Reddit...
I told you, I said, I did Reddit, and you're like, really? I was like, wow, you've heard of it? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it is the number one, you know, information source on the internet. It's the number one place that people go. And it's broken down. I don't frequent it because it's so many words, and I like pictures. But
I don't know how to use it
if
yet.
you go to it, it's like it's broken down to like there's an art portion, there's funny video. I mean, it covers a bunch of stuff, and you were featured in the art portion. But you were like featured at the top, so it bombarded our website, everything. And so if I would, to everybody out there, man, Reddit, like just try to like just post your stuff. Just do your thing. I mean, like, I think we're trying to get set up to do a Q&A where you can just be an artist that's up there that just, like, talks to people and, you know what I mean? So, like, just,
I'd like to find out more about, it's one of the things, I mean, is getting your art out there and a lot of the younger artists, like KC and things, I think they have a leg up because they understand more of this.
Oh, the social media, yeah.
Yeah, like like I do Facebook. I know how to post on Facebook. just like your grandmother and everybody else. But good Lord, man. But the other ones I'm getting better at. And I'm starting to learn a little bit. So that's one thing I want to do, but also they're fun. I mean, it's interesting to connect and see what people put on those. I don't know, it's been YouTube was a revelation for me.
Oh, yeah.
I swear, I didn't realize that there was all these different things and channels and stuff. And that's one thing that made us think, well, let's do this. We're in here anyway. Like, I'm, painting. I'll be working on this. Why not just roll a camera and we'll just chat and have fun, Yeah. I'm in here anyway.
Well, Valerie asked how you were, got featured on Reddit, and it honestly was kind of, it was...
It's been a few things like that where it's just sort of they just contact you.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically for anybody out there, I would say anytime you get press, do it. The smallest to the biggest.
Oh, yeah.
Do it.
That's
because it gets picked up and picked up and picked up.
The reason that I got contacted for that Reddit thing, like, it's funny because I've done things with the Discovery Channel and with bigger channels than this, but the reason they found it on Reddit, 'cause like one reporter or something saw a really small interview in a newspaper in Canada, like a really small one. But they happened to read it and thought, oh, that's interesting. I want to talk to that guy, and that's what it was from. It was from like this tiny little newspaper in Canada, and that they read, and then they thought, well, so yeah, anytime you can talk to anybody.
Yeah, you also like have to be your own self-promoter. Like what I do for John is, we go around and do different art festivals and art shows. Well, you can't rely on them to do your PR. So before we hit that town, man, I contact every news source, every newspaper, every news channel.
This is something we just started.
I have like a press release where it's like, blind artist in town, party, blah, blah, blah. So I mean, and then we'll get contacted, and then they get featured, and then people come out to see the art. So
and that's something we just started.
Yeah, you have to be your own advocate, otherwise you're waiting on people to discover you, and
that's true.
It's too hard.
And that's something we have to do. Like I'm like, and this is going to sound like bragging or whatever, but I've done several hundred interviews, I think. And I'm an unknown artist, basically, Which you think, well, that seems like a lot of interviews to, I'm the most well-known unknown person ever. No, but the thing is, though, is I do interviews for anybody, like all over the little newspapers, this or that. And a lot of the things that I do interviews for, though, is to help charities and nonprofits and things. So it's not necessarily about me. Like the press isn't necessarily about me, which is great. But it gets the word out there and stuff. So I do a lot of interviews, but a lot of it's not about me. Kind of like the interview today with the guy with the book wasn't about me. It was about intuition. But he thought, hey, that sounds interesting. And
yeah, but if you think about it in bigger terms, your name is now attached to an interview that is going to be on a website, on a book.
Exactly.
And SEOs pick it up on websites and all this sort of stuff. So any artist out there, you want to do, you just want your name out there. Like, do it all.
And working with nonprofits and charities.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like I do a lot of work with that. And I do it because I loved it, and I never thought it would actually lead to like business sort of stuff. I know we've talked about this on here before, but it's a wonderful sort of thing to get your name out there, And so if you're working with a charity or a nonprofit, they usually want to put on events. They want to do things that are interesting. They're fun to do anyway. So you're on there, and people get to hear about you, and then that's where a lot of stories come from.
Yeah. Well, Valerie just mentioned she got a new video up on her YouTube channel, so she's got 6 now.
Oh
Congrats.
man, I wanna go listen to that.
That's awesome. I know we need to watch those. So
That's
again,
cool,
I mean,
man.
all the content, that's fantastic. That's super exciting.
Well, you know, for this, I think I'm gonna stop right now because I put that thick paint, so I want to let it dry a little bit.
Did you put green in his hair?
I did.
You should hold it up a little bit so we can
Oh.
see it.
I did. I put little. Let's see.
Down a little. Right there.
Is that good?
Nice.
So I put a little green in his hair, and I'm probably going to change this a little bit, but because I put the thick paint's great, but it takes a little time to dry, and so I'm going to let it dry because I want to do some more washes and tinting, and that's going to drag that paint in there. It's going to mess things up. I did that on his cheek a little bit. I knew it when I hit it, too. Like, that paintbrush hit the side of that, and I thought, nope, and then it was too late. But that's okay. You can wipe it off. You can paint it out. It doesn't really matter. You can fix things.
What part are you talking about?
Oh, right over here. I hit part of his hair with the brush, and I felt it when I did it because you could feel the brush as it hits the paint, and it hit wet paint, so it drug just a little bit right before I was going to put some other paint. So I fixed it. But so anyway, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to continue to film with the GoPro, and so when I finish this up, and it's not going to change that much from this, but I'll finish this up, and then we'll post the finished video on Monday on DAM Fast, and I will also include like a really good photo of it that I will not take. I promise. Jackie will take it. Sometimes I'll get out my cell phone and I'll take a picture of something, so it'll let me know, it's centered, and at least it lets me know if it's centered, whatnot. I and then and I'll put that on, and Jackie will say, "Oh, that's a horrible photo. That's a horrible photo."
You should just let me do it.
I know. Sometimes you just gotta sometimes you gotta do your own thing. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on this, man. For coming in the studio and watching us make fools of ourselves.
Yeah, it's always fun every week. And thank you, Casey, for sharing your art.
Yes, thank you.
And everybody that asked questions and chimed in and chatted with us. And I know Valerie's got to get with us about a print she won.
Mm-hmm.
Witzel won a print, so we got to do that.
That's
and
cool.
Then, if anybody has any questions about anything or comments, leave them down below. And we will do a video about our how we do all the prints and all that too. That'll be great.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That is a hard thing to learn. It really is. Because nobody wants to tell you how to do it. It's like a closely guarded secret. Like, it is hard to get information about how to make an art print.
Yeah,
it really is. It's silly. It's really silly. I mean, because
so.
I don't know. So
Anyway.
maybe we shouldn't make a video. No, we're not gonna tell anybody. No, but thanks guys. I appreciate it. And we'll finish this up and we'll put that video out on Monday.
Yeah.
Of it.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.